is day 62.
Day 62.
Of business as usual.
Get out of here. Day 62? How can it be that long already? My, oh my. Business as usual with...
An asterisk.
Yeah, and we're Mike and Mary, and we've got messages of hope for you.
You bet.
Through this quarantine pandemic.
This is the last day of our focus on time.
Yes. So, here's the question today. What's your end game? You know, we took a look at an individual week. We took a look at the time machine. We took a look at re-engineering. We took a look at what
the
season.
Time, yes, the season and the time between now and June 1st when we're together at Master Sales Academy. And there, we're going to take a look at the end of 2020, what we're going to do from June 1 to the end of 2020. But today is Floyd, in Floyd's words, he would say, we're going to fly up into the air and we're going to take a bird's eye view, right?
Or go up into the mountain.
Yeah.
Spend a few days thinking about what is the end game. You know, all of us started out here and wanted to get to here. And we said, okay, what's the vehicle I'm going to choose to do that? And the answer was real estate. Why did you choose real estate as your vehicle to get from here to there?
You've probably been wondering that a few times yourself.
Well, one of the reasons we choose commission sales is because it's one of the fewest ways out there to exponentially increase your income in a short period of time. There's no ceiling on your income. And unfortunately for
there's
some,
also no floor.
Yeah, but we did
I've
choose
heard this
this
shtick before, you know.
because risk and reward. There's no great reward without great risk.
Thank you, Floyd, for teaching us that.
Yeah. So when we say end game, another word for that could be retirement. What is your retirement goal? What is your retirement plan? Do you ever plan to leave this business?
And whether you plan to leave the business or not, if you plan to work till, your shoes fall off and they haul you out feet first, that's okay. But you don't want to have to necessarily have to work. In other words, if you don't work, you're eating dog food. So there's got to be a time when all this work that you're putting in now during your productive years comes to fruition. And then you work with joy, you work for the little extra things, but you're not worried about where the next check comes from.
So you get to work because you want to, not because you have to.
Right.
That's a really good, I think, first step goal in a retirement plan. And who should be involved in the thinking and the planning of that financial plan, that retirement plan?
The people that you love, the people that are important to you.
For sure.
That's a spouse or a mate, your children, your advisors. I mean, I think you decide whose input you want for when that should be and how long should it take and what do we want? You know, I've used for many years the analogy, the last thing you ever want to do is be sitting outside your single wide, arguing over who gets the good lawn chair. We're making those decisions now during this work time.
You mean me and Marge in the trailer park having elbow?
It ain't going to be you and me, that's for sure.
Well, you know, this has come up on so many R-squared calls that I'm bringing this
How
to
much
my
is enough?
advisory group, to my board of directors. When do I know it's time? And how much is enough, for sure. How much is enough? And am I doing this to create a legacy? Am I doing this to pass it on to the next generation? Or am I just doing it to reach a financial end? So in addition to your spouse or your partners, I'd say the people you trust in business should be part of this conversation. And I'd go get a certified financial planner, somebody who can give you the financial landscape, because not all of us like you are geniuses about creating, wealth and income and passive income. I mean, that's why we build a book of business, so that when we're not working, it's working for us.
It's a really good point, Michael.
Yeah.
Whose advice do you take? But before you bring that question to a group like your R-squared coaching group, what if you did some thinking? You're better at thinking than me. I have to force myself, and I do that daily. That's part of my morning routine. But Michael thinks while he, I don't know, does puzzles, and he thinks while he listens to music. I don't. I have more of a one-track kind of mind, and I have to physically move my cars onto the other track to change what I'm thinking about. What kind of thinker are you? And do you have to maybe set an alarm in your phone and say, for 15 minutes, I'm going to sit down in my favorite spot and I'm going to think. And maybe I have a yellow legal pad in my lap and I just write down, what if I imagined? Imagination is part of thinking, and some of us don't have enough. I don't want to say we don't have enough time, because guess what? We all got the same amount, but some of us don't spend enough time imagining. What do I want the end game to look like? What would that be like for me? Some of us are going to work until then, through all of that. Some of us are going to say, no, I want to be done. Or I've got ideas for a next job. Or I want to sail around the world. Or I want to be able to visit grandchildren in 5 different cities and not work at all. First I have to have the vision. Then I have to figure out, how do I accomplish it? How much money would that take to accomplish it? And then frankly, that's when you take it to your board of directors to say, all right, here's what I've figured out so far. How do I go about, what's the plan for achieving that? And I think a CPA is a good idea, but I think there's great wisdom in people that also have a real estate license. You got to remember, Michael, a lot of CPAs tell you to invest in money. And, we can all have different opinions about this, but I grew up learning as a young adult that when you invest in a yardstick that sometimes shrinks, that's not a good investment. Invest in things that expand in value, that grow in value.
Yeah, the entrepreneurial point of view is really valuable here. Remember back to November, when you revisit your focus organizer every year, the end game and purpose and individual goal, boy, you get all 3 of those ingredients working in harmony. That's how you really start cooking.
So what if you scheduled 4 appointments for yourself today after listening to this recording? What if the first 2 were with yourself and a yellow legal pad in maybe one of your favorite spots? And the second 2 were with people that you love. Maybe it's a spouse, and you say, next Tuesday, I'd like to make lunch for you, and we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about our end game. And then what if a week after that, because that gives your subconscious mind and his or her subconscious mind time to be crafting and working in the workshop behind the scenes. And then you get together again and you match how you see your end game.
So bring your end game, bring your purpose, bring your goals, bring your year-to-date numbers, all to Master Sales Academy. That's going to catapult you into having the 2020 you wanted to have last January.
Hey, tomorrow is a song.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope I can come up with something.
Don't miss that.
See you tomorrow.